At a recent event here in New York City, Samsung launched their latest version of their QLED, which is their top-of-the-line TVs. And I have to admit, they look pretty damn sexy. One model even has 8K upscaling, and they have ambient mode, which is my new favorite feature, which we'll get to later, and a bunch more. Now, since I was at the American Stock Exchange where they were holding this, and it was a blizzard essentially outside, I figured I would spend my time in there trying to do a complete walkthrough of these line of TVs. Now, if you're not familiar with my complete walkthrough, it's basically me going through as many features as I possibly can in as short a period of time as possible so that you can make better informed decisions about the products, etc. on your own. With that said, there are a lot of models here, so let's just get started as quickly as possible. Firstly, there's a plethora of different models, each with different features slightly, and with their own sizes. Now, I'll get to that later really fast so you understand, but first, let's go through the coolest features that I found across the majority of the range. Now, all of the models are QLED or quantum dot LEDs, which combine the contrast ratios and deep blacks of OLED with the superior color and brightness of quantum dots. Now, without going into too much technical detail, let's just suffice it to say that they all have really great contrast ratios, crazy colors, and just look amazing. Done. All of these have a new feature that I'm sort of in love with already called ambient mode. Now, ambient mode allows you to take a photo of the TV and the surrounding wall with your phone, and it'll automatically recreate the wall's pattern onto the TV, making it look almost invisible. Now, the idea here is that Samsung found that TVs are off a lot of the time, go figure, and since LEDs don't use much power, they figured it was time to leave them on and make them more useful, while also looking just really cool. On top of this ambient mode, you can also layer photos that appear to just kind of float in the frame, put on a weather widget, news from a partnership with New York Times, play music, give traffic reports, etc. I personally love this concept because it is another screen in the house that could just be more useful. Next, the Q7 and Q9 models are available with a one connection option that uses a fiber optic cable and available up to 15 meters long to deliver data as well as power. Talk about easy cable management, right? Also, they're all smart TVs, and can be set up super quickly using the SmartThings app, and they have a new UI that is a lot more intuitive and cleaner than the ones I've previously seen. Also, they can all use Bixby for not only voice controls, but also to control and display other things from SmartThings and control these devices as well. For example, show the video feed from the smart doorbell, or show you what's inside your smart fridge, etc. Now, the Q8 and the Q9 models use a direct full array that allows for the controlling of different zones of the LEDs to make them brighter or darker, depending on the need for much higher contrast ratios. The Q9 has more of these zones for even more control, which is one of the differentiators between it versus the Q8, but more on that later. They all support HDR10+, so any HDR10 content will be extra bright, have a much higher color gamut, etc. And the brightness, depending on the model, is up to 2000 nits, which if you aren't familiar, equals frickin' bright. And they all have the same anti-reflective coating from last year's models, which helps with the blacks being actually black and everything just being a more lifelike image. Now, all models use the Samsung Q engine, they call it, that can upscale content to the resolution of the TV using AI. Now, this means all the way up to 8K on the Q9 SN top model and up to 4K on all the others. I know it's easy to be cynical of this type of upscaling and using the word AI, etc., but all I can say is that the demos that I've seen, it looks pretty impressive. The Q7 and the Q9 are compatible with Samsung's no-gap wall mount, and the Q9 actually includes the wall mount for free. The others can utilize the current Samsung Gravity and easel stands, as well as other third-party mounts, of course. The TVs also have a game mode, which will automatically detect a video game and go into low latency mode, which means there's no more need for turning on and off game mode manually. It will also auto-detect any game that drops below 60 frames per second and begin interpolating extra frames of image data to reduce tearing. Kinda clever, right? Now, let's quickly go through the various models, starting with the cream of the crop, the Q9SN. Now, this model only comes in one size, huge, 4 inches, 85 inches. It has an 8K display with AI-based upscaling tech that'll take any resolution content and upscale it to 8K resolution, as I mentioned. Now, besides the crazy resolution, the Q9SN has an unprecedented number of dimming zones that they call micro dimming that can be used to automatically control the brightness as mentioned, but in a lot more zones than any of the other models on this list. Next up, we have the Q9FN, which comes in 88, 75, 65, and 55-inch models. This model has a 4K resolution and local dimming instead of the micro like the crazy top model. So it has hundreds of zones to control dimming instead of the undisclosed crazy amount that is more than that used for micro dimming. Now that still results in crazy contrast levels. Then we have the Q8FN, which along with the Q9 has a full array display that means better contrast, but the TV isn't as thin as say the Q7 and the Q6, which have ultra slim arrays for thinner profiles but less contrast. And again, when I say less contrast, I just mean less than those models. They still have really good contrast. The Q8FN has a 4K resolution and local dimming, but less zones again than the Q9FN. And the Q8FN will come in 75, 65, and 55 inches. Then there's the Q8CN in certain markets that is a curved version of the Q8FN and is also slightly less bright at 1500 nits instead of 2000. Thanks in part to the edge LED lighting that spreads the lighting across the panel from the edges instead of the direct LED light coming from the LEDs across the panel of the Q9 models and the Q8FN model above. Also, it'll come in 65 and 55-inch models. Next, we have the Q7FN and Q7CN models, one being flat and one being curved. The keen viewers out there might have already found the naming pattern. The Q7FN will come in 75, 65, and 55 inches, while the Q7CN will only come in 65 and 55. Both models will have edge lighting that we saw on the curved Q8CN and will have 4K resolutions as well as local dimming. Now lastly in the model lineup, we have the Q6FN, which will have a 4K resolution and come in 82, 75, 65, 55, and even a 49-inch model. We'll all have edge lighting, but instead of local dimming, we'll only have frame dimming for around the edges. And there we go, a complete walkthrough of all of these new QLED models. Let me know what you guys thought of this video in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you, and also what you think of the TVs. Right now, there is no pricing. You can go look at the last year's model, though, to get an idea of kind of where they're going to sit. And I imagine that Q9SN model, the very top of the line with 8K, is going to be in the tens of thousands of dollars. Let's just assume. I will update the article, though, below. So if you're watching this later, you click that link to be taken to my site, and I'll put the pricing there once it's available, and also the different markets that these different models will be available in, because, again, they're going to be in specific markets probably, most likely. Sizes will change as well for the markets, all that fun stuff. But, yeah, there you go. If you like this video, please thumbs up it or share it. It's greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you do, if you're already subscribed, please click the bell next to the word subscribe to be notified of when I do new videos. If you'd like to be notified, I would appreciate that as well. As always, though, regardless, thanks for watching.